So for step 5, the rear axle stays. You can see that this is where we're going to grab these two little springs, and we've got D11 and D12, and you can see how that's going to be attached. And of course, there's our hardware. But these ones are coming out of MD. Now, in the last step, MD referred to this bag with all the little O-rings. Well, we're going back to the first MD bag because you can see the springs are sitting inside of there. So I'll get those out and then we'll start working on this. And I think we'll do this side first. So if we grab this side, which is this one here, we're going to need to grab one of these springs. Now make sure that you actually have it the right way, because you can see that the curve is running this way. So if we grab this, you're going to need to put it into the hole on that side. Okay. And then put it onto that piece right there. And then you can see it's going to look like that. But you'll also notice that when this screw goes through, it's showing that the spring needs to be above it. So if we put this screw in, which it's a tapping screw, we're going to screw this in. And then that is going to sit above it when we're finished, but we're going to need to screw this in first. So let's do that. And you can see that it's showing down, but we're going to want that above when we're finished with all this. But let me get the screw actually in and through. It's an interesting design because you're putting the screw all the way through, but it actually doesn't really do anything, at least at this point, other than we need to make sure that this is sitting above. So you see how that is now sitting above the screw, just like it's showing on this side. They want it flipped over the screw so that it sits like that. And the reason being is actually, if you go a step ahead, you'll notice that this is actually only a temporary screw, so that when we can get these pieces attached to the chassis and allow for that axle in the back of this to fit here. So those screws are just actually a temporary thing. So they just want to get this spring out of the way at this point. So let's do the other one, and then we'll be able to attach all this to the chassis in the next step. So again, if we grab our spring here, we're going to put that through and make sure that that's sitting on top, just like that. And then we'll grab our screw and we'll start screwing that in. And because we know that this is temporary, I'm just going to do enough that it's going to work. I'm not going to screw the whole thing all the way in. There we go. So that's how it's going to look. So that means that step is done. So now we can move on to step 6, which is attaching the gearbox. And you can see, as I mentioned, this is where this axle is going to fit into there. And then you can see that they're saying remove the screw after that's all been put together. But anyways, I'll get everything ready and then we'll finish step 6.